I am Nidhishree Bagalwadi, your science teacher, Sankalp Learning Solution. In the last class, we discussed regarding the chemical properties of carbon and its compounds. Like I just brushed up the concepts, right? And also we saw the activity regarding the burning of saturated as well as unsaturated hydrocarbons, right? Just a minute. Yeah. So we also discussed regarding the unsaturated and saturated, how they will burn. For example, unsaturated naphthalene balls and all, whatever they burnt with a yellow flame and they gave a smoke. Whereas the alcohol, which is saturated hydrocarbon, it will not burn. It gives a cleaner flame, which is quite blue in color and which appears smokeless, which is smokeless. So this is a difference between saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbons. Through this, we understand one reaction, that is combustion. The hydrocarbons or the carbon compounds burn in presence of oxygen. So such reactions are called as combustion reaction. Let us discuss chemical properties of carbon and its compounds in detail, guys. Fine. So as you can see, the combustion, uh, fine. Carbon in all its allotropic forms. We know that carbon will be having different allotropic forms. Allotropic forms means what? Different physical property, but the same chemical property are called as allotropic forms. So almost all the allotropic forms of the carbon burns in presence of oxygen. Burns in presence of oxygen. The product will be carbon dioxide along with the release of heat and light. For example, when the carbon is burnt in presence of oxygen, it gives carbon dioxide along with the liberation of heat as well as light. When you see the methane, guys, so methane, CH4, when it is burnt in presence of oxygen, you can see the production of carbon dioxide, water along with heat and light. When you balance it, just see CC1, 4 H are there, 3 oxygen are there. So to make it, I will write 2H, so it becomes 4, 2O, 2O. So I will write this here 2. So then it will become balanced equation. Then the next one is ethanol, guys. CH3, CH2OH, ethanol. So when ethanol is burnt in presence of oxygen, so we will get carbon dioxide, water, heat, and light. So here saturated hydrocarbons, whatever we call the saturated hydrocarbons like ethanol, alcohol, and all, they give a clean flame. While the unsaturated hydrocarbons, like naphthalene balls, or you can say, what is that? Camphor. So this give a yellow flame with a lots of black smoke. We observed it in an activity which we visualized in the last session. So here the main thing is burning of carbon compounds gives us heat and light. Burning of carbon compounds releases carbon dioxide. Burning of organic compounds like methane, hydrocarbons. Methane gives us carbon dioxide and water. Burning of saturated hydrocarbons like alcohol gives us a clean fuel, clean flame along with the heat and light. This we have to remember. Along with this, what the daily activities we can see in this through this what we can say concept. The first one is, you might see in that whenever some of the vessels in your houses, their bottom got blackened when they are heated on a stove. That is because due to the no, incomplete combustion of the gases. When incomplete combustion of the gases occurs, there will be waste in a fuel, and the enough energy is not supplied. Okay, so here the next one is, why do substances burn with or without flame? Let us read it first. A flame is only produced when gaseous substance will burn. When gaseous substance will burn completely, then only flame is produced, guys. For example, when you consider a coal or a charcoal or a wood, Just imagine when they are burning. At the first time when you just ignite it, they will burn, but later they will not give the flame. Okay, so at the first, all the volatile substances. So what do you mean by volatile substances? The substances which are easily evaporated are called as volatile substances. So when you ignite them in a flame, so the volatile substances will be evaporated first. Okay, and then the first it will burn with a flame in the beginning. A luminous flame is seen when the atoms of gaseous substance are heated and start to glow. Then what happens? The substances start to glow and you can see a luminous, which gives a luminous light flame. The color produced by each element is a characteristic property of that element. Okay. So some of the volatile substances, when they burn completely and they evaporate, then the flame will not be visible. That is why wood or coal, when you are heated them, when you heat them, you can see only glowing of them after some period, right? Then the next reaction is oxidation. The next reaction is oxidation. So what is this oxidation? Some of the substances have a capacity to give oxygen to the other substances. Such substances are called as oxidizing agents, right? So the carbon compounds like ethanol we took here is can easily be oxidized, means the oxygen will be added to them very easily. Okay, in addition to this, complete oxidation of alcohol gives us the acetic acid. Alcohol in presence of a catalyst like alkaline potassium permanganate, KMNO4 is a potassium permanganate, K2Cr2O7 is a potassium dichromate. So this potassium permanganate and potassium dichromate, when these substances are added and heated along with the alcohol, we get the carboxylic acid. These substances add oxygen to the alcohol to give carboxylic acid. So here, the catalyst, what I said, catalysts are the substances, guys. These are the substances which help in the reaction, which takes part in a reaction, but don't intermix in a reaction. They help in a reaction to carry on. So such a type of reaction where oxygen has been added is called as oxidation reaction. So carbon compounds can be easily oxidized. Okay. Next one, addition reaction. As the name indicates, addition means addition, adding. So unsaturated hydrocarbons means the hydrocarbons which have double bond or a triple bond between the carbon atoms. So such unsaturated hydrocarbons add hydrogen in presence of catalyst. They add hydrogen in the presence of catalysts like nickel, palladium, etc. So this reaction is called as hydrogenation. So here what happens? Unsaturated hydrocarbons will be converted into saturated hydrocarbons. So this is usually done in hydrogenation of vegetable oil. So you might saw or watched many advertisements like advertising healthy vegetable oil. Healthy vegetable oils means what? The vegetable oil which will be containing much unsaturated fatty acids. The saturated fatty acids, what we call, these are present in the animal fats, which are usually harmful for the health. That is why the unsaturated fatty acids which are present in the vegetable oil are very useful and very necessary for our body. So that is why unsaturated fatty acids oil should be used. And saturated fatty acids oil will be harmful for the health. As you can see the reaction here, here it is a alkene, right? Alkene attached to some functional group. R indicates a general functional group. Okay. So in presence of nickel catalyst, okay, they add hydrogen. The hydrogen is being added. When the hydrogen is being added, the unsaturated hydrocarbon will be converted into saturated. Here you can see the single bond between the carbon atoms. right? They become saturated. So this reaction, it is used for in the vegetable oils using nickel catalyst. So here, as the hydrogen is added to it, that process is called as hydrogenation. So in your exam, the question might be asked like, what is hydrogenation? So the hydrogenation is nothing but addition of hydrogen in the to the vegetable oils using a nickel catalyst. Okay, this is regarding addition reaction. As I said, catalyst. So catalysts are the substances that cause a reaction to occur, that are the result or that make a reaction to occur. They proceed with a different speed without involving or without mixing in the reaction. For example, PT, palladium, nickel, iron, copper. So these all are the most commonly used catalysts. Okay. Next, the next type of reaction or the last type of reaction is substitution reaction, guys. Substitution. As you know that in maths, especially in the part called algebra, so we will use this substitute, means inserting the other value in place of the other when the values are equal. So in substitution reaction, what happen? One type of atom will be replaced by the other type of atom or other type of group of atoms. The one type of atom's place is taken by the other atom or the group of other atoms. So usually saturated hydrocarbons will undergo substitution reaction. So here you can see a chlorine, a very strong halogen. So it has a capacity to replace or to take the place of hydrogen atoms in presence of sunlight. As you can see, the methane has 4 hydrogen, guys. So when methane in presence of oxygen reacts with chlorine, the hydrogen atoms will be replaced by the methane with the production of or with the formation of hydrochloric acid. So usually not only one hydrogen atoms, almost all the hydrogen atoms will be replaced by the chlorine in presence of sunlight. So here what is happening? The place of hydrogen will be taken by the chlorine. So such reactions are called as substitution reaction. Substitution reaction. Right. So here you can get certain questions like this. What do you mean by hydrogenation? You have to explain with the hydrogenation of vegetable oil, or you can explain by this reaction, using this reaction. Right. Then, what is conversion of ethanol? This we will discuss now. What is the role ethanol to ethanoic acid? See here. Here, alcohol to carboxylic acid, that is nothing but oxidation reaction they asked in an applied way. Ethanol to ethanoic acid. Then, what is the role of catalyst in chemical reaction? I'm sorry. A mixture of oxygen and ethane is burned for welding. Can you tell why mixture of ethane and air is not used? That we have to write. Think over it and then answer. Now we are going to discuss about some important carbon compounds which are called ethanol and ethanoic acid. In ethanol, the functional group is alcohol. In ethanoic acid, the functional group is carboxylic acid. In ethanoic acid, the functional group is carboxylic acid. Here it is OH. Here it is COOH. Fine. So see, this is the formula for ethanol or ethyl alcohol, we can say. CH3, CH2OH, 2 carbon atoms. How it is produced? Ethanol will be produced by fermentation of sugar, that is respiration in absence of oxygen, we can see. Fermentation of sugar and starches from many different sources. So in presence of yeast enzymes, the fermentation of glucose occurs, right? Producing ethanol and carbon dioxide. This we learned in the life process. So in the yeast, fermentation occurs. Yeast is a unicellular fungi. So in it, the oxygen, that is respiration, takes place in absence of oxygen, producing alcohol and carbon dioxide as a byproduct. So that reaction is called as fermentation. So the production of ethanol will be done or will have happened by the fermentation process. The next one is it can be synthesized. Again, it can be produced by hydration of alkene. Hydration means addition of water is called as hydration. Reaction with water is called as hydration. With ethene, ethene, that is double bond at the temperature of 300 degrees Celsius in presence of catalyst like sulfuric acid, phosphoric acid, aluminium oxide, phosphoric oxide, like that. So we will get the ethanol when it is hydration of alkene occurs in presence of catalyst and at the required temperature and pressure. Then properties, what is the characteristic of ethanol? Why it is considered as a most important carbon compound? So the ethanol or a ethyl alcohol will be liquid at a room temperature and it is an active ingredient for all the alcoholic drinks. It is soluble in water in all the proportion. That is the main property. In addition to it, it is a good solvent, means it is used to dissolve the medicine such as tincture of iodine, cough syrup, many tonics will be dissolved in the ethanol, not in the water. So this is the most important property of the ethanol because it is a good solvent, right? Then reactions means where or with what the ethanol will react. When the ethanol will react with a highly reactive metal like sodium, so here the reaction show acidic nature of ethoxide. So here sodium will get with the liberation of hydrogen. This reaction confirms the acidic reaction or the acidic behavior of the ethanol. Reaction to give unsaturated hydrocarbon. When the ethanol is undergone or in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid, it is treated in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid. Ethanol is a saturated, right? Saturated compound. When it is treated with a concentrated sulfuric acid, it gives the unsaturated hydrocarbon. That is called as dehydration. That is removal of water takes place in presence of the catalyst. So where the normal alcohol will be converted into unsaturated hydrocarbon. So here the concentrated sulfuric acid is called as dehydrating agent as it is the main cause to remove the water from the ethanol. Okay. So here dehydrating agent is concentrated sulfuric acid. Then how do ethanol or the alcohol affect the living beings? As you know that consumption of alcohol in a what we can say over consumption of alcohol is injurious to health. Why? So when large quantity of ethanol is consumed in our body, it tends to slow metabolism processes. Metabolism processes means the processes which are occurring, the chemical reactions which are taking place inside our body will get slow, and it depresses central nervous system. It makes central nervous system in a very what we can say lazy mode. This results in lack of coordination. When central nervous system is affected, the coordination between the organs, between the person and the environment will be reduced. Mental confusion occurs, drowsiness, always sleepy, lowering normal inhibitions, and finally stupor. So the individual may feel relaxed when he has alcohol, but it does not realize, he will not realize that the sense of judgment, sense of timing, muscular coordination will be severely or seriously impaired due to the overconsumption of alcohol. The next one is methanol. We discussed up regarding ethanol. The next one is methanol, that is CH4OH. CH4OH is a molecular formula. So when methanol is consumed in a very small quantity, it can cause death. Why? Because methanol will be oxidized, means addition of oxygen takes place to methanol inside the body. Then it converts into methanol in the liver. Methanol reacts rapidly with the components of the cell, whatever the components, water, proteins, carbohydrates, whatever the components will be there, it reacts with it. It causes protoplasm to get coagulated. Protoplasm, the content of a cell, will be coagulated in much the same way as an egg coagulated by the cooking. When you cook the egg, how will become soft, boiled egg, like that our cell will become, right? So the methanol also affects the optic nerve connected with the eyes, causing blindness. So this is the most danger alcohol we can say. Denatured alcohol, denatured. So you might seen that in our school laboratory, in our college laboratory, we will use the ethanol for some cleaning purposes, for some reaction. You can ask me, if we take that ethanol, we will not be affected. So that ethanol which we will use, it is a denatured alcohol. What is this? To prevent the misuse of ethanol for the industrial use, it is made unfit for drinking. The alcohol which is unfit for drinking, it is called denatured alcohol. How it is made unfit? By adding poisonous substances. This is called denatured alcohol. They will add poisonous substances to it. Dyes are also added to color the alcohol blue so that it can be identified easily. So that is denatured alcohol means unfit to drink, right? Which we will use in the laboratory for industrial uses, etc. The next most important compound of the carbon is ethanoic acid, CH3COOH, commonly called as acetic acid or a vinegar. So it is widely used for the cooking purposes, especially the Chinese things. Ethanoic acid is commonly called acetic acid and belongs to the group carboxylic. COOH means carboxylic group. So 5 to 8% of solution of acetic acid in water, 5 to 8% of acetic acid, the rest all percent of water, it gives you the vinegar, which we will use for cooking purposes. So the ethanoic acid acts with the base to give the salt and the water, right? Then reaction with carbonates and hydrogen carbonates. Ethanoic acid reacts with the carbonates and bicarbonates to give rise to a salt, water, as well as carbon dioxide. This is nothing but the reaction of acid with the carbonate and hydrogen carbonate, the reaction of acid with the metals, okay, like that. See here, in the first reaction, the acetic acid or ethanoic acid reacted with sodium bicarbonate. We got the salt, that is sodium ethanoate, acetate, sodium acetate plus water plus carbon dioxide. Same way in the second reaction, the acetic acid or the ethanoic acid reacted with sodium carbonate to give a sodium acetate, water, and along with the liberation of carbon dioxide. The next one is most important reaction, which is called esterification reaction. So what do you mean by esterification? Ethanol reacts with the absolute alcohol or the ethanol. Acetic acid reacts with the absolute ethanol in presence of an acid which acts as a catalyst to give an ester. This is a ester, C double bond OO. This is a ester, which is called esterification reaction. Why it is done? It is esters are a sweet smelling substances. So that these are used for making perfumes and flavoring agent. That is why esterification reaction is very important. As you can see, ethanoic acid is used here, which is commonly called acetic acid. When it is made reacted with the ethanol, ethyl alcohol, in presence of an acid, we will get the ester. This C double bond O, single bond O. This is the functional group of ester. So these ester will be having sweet smell, which are used in the perfumes, which are used for flavoring the substances. So this reaction is called as esterification reaction, right? Fine. Okay. The next reaction of ethanoic acid is saponification. So the saponification means esters, whatever they are formed, they will convert or they will react with the bases. They will react with the acid or a base to give back the alcohol and a carboxylic acid to its salt or its salt. Here you can see the ether. Okay, the ether when it reacts with ester, when it reacts with the sodium hydroxide, ester when it reacted with sodium hydroxide, we got sodium acetate along with the formation of the alcohol. So this process or this reaction is known as saponification. Why? Because this is used to prepare the soap, to produce the soap. So this is about the chemical reactions or the chemical properties of carbon and its compounds. And two important carbon compounds we learned, that is regarding ethanol and ethanoic acid. In the upcoming session, we are going to deal with the other concept by using the principle of saponification, that is soaps and detergent. This will be the last concept of carbon and its compounds. Until that, take care. Have a nice day. Bye bye.